Hello everyone out there, welcome back to Life is a Bowl of Cashews, where life is sweet, salty, and a little nutty. I'm Brian Hull, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Paul! Hello, human.
Now, let's talk about some randomosity! Hello everybody, welcome back to Life is a Bowl of Cashews.
Cashews.
That's right. I do love cashews. It feels wrong not saying it because, we have the recorded intro now.
We do.
So I'm not saying the full intro. Even though we've only done 4 episodes up until now, it feels wrong that I did not say the tagline.
Go ahead.
Where life is salty, sweet, and a little nutty.
There you go. You feel better?
I said it out of order, but I don't care anymore. And it's not sweet, salty, and a little nutty. It's now salty, sweet, and a little nutty.
Can we talk about this?
You have a mosquito bite?
That's not a mosquito bite. Mothra bit me. This thing hurts.
Yeah, that
It's
happens.
ginormous.
With mosquito bites. That sometimes
Look how
happens.
it's that big.
Yeah,
It's big.
that's how big my ant bites normally are, and I'm allergic to ants. Are you allergic to skeeters?
I might be on that. Look at that thing, man.
Yeah, that looks like an ant bite that I would get, and I'm legit allergic to mosquitoes.
Oh, really?
Not mosquitoes, ants.
I don't like it. Those
Yeah, no.
mosquitoes need to go away.
Well, that's why I avoid ants like there's no tomorrow. Because, I'm happy out here in California, I have yet to see, anything past a sugar ant.
Oh, we have red ants.
Oh, no, I'm talking fire ants.
We have those. They're red. Aren't those fire ants?
I'm trying to remember what color they are. I just normally see them, I feel the searing pain, and I wipe them off my leg. I don't remember what color they are. No.
We have red ants, and we always call them fire ants.
Are they the same thing?
They're
I don't know.
They're like that big.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
And they're muscular because
Yeah.
they're big ants, and they're red.
And every bite feels like you're on
I've
fire.
never been bitten by one.
Oh, lucky. I got bit by 30 at one
Sorry, I
time.
picked my tooth. I think the ones in Texas are just angry.
Oh, I don't blame them. It's that hot. I'd be angry too.
Oh, yeah, I need to tell them the story about the wasps and the way you describe them. They're just hornets. Hornets or wasps. Aren't they the same thing?
Well, hornet is a type of wasp.
Yeah, okay,
So I mean,
okay.
it all kind of falls in the
Right,
general story.
right.
So we need some background on the story.
I love
so
that.
Paul is terrified.
Do you want to know why I'm terrified of these things? Because when even honeybees wake up,
No.
they see me
No.
and they just bite me. I have been stung for no reason. I don't provoke them.
I don't believe
touch
this.
them. I don't care what you believe. I know what I experienced.
I believe the bee thought it was under threat, whether you meant to threaten it or not.
Well, the bee was stupid. The bee was stupid. I'm sorry.
I don't think bees are known for their incredible intelligence or anything.
I thought they were pretty smart.
Well, for a bug, it's still a bug.
A bug. But I'm telling
Still
you.
a bug. Come on, Ron. It's just a little puppy.
I love Parks and Rec. I'm rewatching it right now. I
Yes.
love Parks and Rec. No, the bees attack me for no reason.
They
but
shouldn't.
Please explain to them why
Okay.
wasps are.
So
the best.
I was trying to explain to him that he's scared of anything that flies, pretty much.
Yes, I have run away from butterflies. That is a
Yes,
true
you have
story.
run away from butterflies, but in your
thought they were
defense,
bees.
I was about to say, in your defense, you thought they were bees.
That's because they were. They were a bee disguised as
They were a
butterfly.
butter bee.
A butter
A
bee.
butter bee?
Oh,
Is that what this
sounds
is? That does
cute.
sound cute. Do you remember that show back in the late 80s? The Wuzzles.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like 2 animals put
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
I could totally see there
butter
being
bee.
a butter bee.
But
Well, there was a butter bear.
yes, there was that. I know.
Oh no, it was a butter lion. Butter lion or butter
No.
bear?
I thought it was a butter bear.
It was butter bear. You're right.
Yeah.
It was butter bear.
But I will tell you that butterbee sounds adorable. But
does.
I thought this butterfly was disguised. I
Right.
think it was a bee disguised as a butterfly.
So I had to sit down and talk to him. It was just like, okay, bees aren't bad. If a bee stings you, they
sound
die.
like fish are friends, not food.
Except stinking dolphins.
All right, keep going. Sorry.
Bees are friends, not enemies.
Yes.
Except stinking wasps. But we'll get there. So I was trying to explain to you why bees aren't a big deal, because they just want to get their nectar and leave. They don't want any trouble. They're just going to come in, get their thing, and leave. And unless they think that they're in danger or the hive, they will not sting you. Then you were like, well, what about wasps? And I'm like, no, they wake up and choose violence. They're the worst. Wasps don't die when they sting you. Bees are like, this is my last line of defense. I must defend the hive. Wasps are like, did you look at me funny? Did you breathe the air that I'm breathing? You're going to die. I'm just going to sting you right between the eyeballs.
I don't know why that makes me laugh every time.
It really does.
I just can imagine they wake up. Oh, man. It's like, shoot, man.
They just wake up and you hear the electric guitars. And there's like, someone will fall today.
I mean, they need a therapist.
Wasps?
They need anger management.
Yeah, wasps, no. They can sting as much as they want and they will not die.
I know.
So they're just stinging everything because it's there.
I don't like wasps.
Yeah, no, I had one bad run-in with wasps when I was younger.
Stung by a wasp?
Oh, 3.
Oh.
On the ear.
Oh, wasps are the devil.
Oh, they're awful. No, so when I was still living in Texas, I think I was a sophomore or junior in high school. I got paid by one of my neighbors to go mow their lawn while they were out on vacation.
I remember this story, yeah.
And this was a lawn, okay? I'm not talking like, 5 square
lawn.
feet of like, oh, you get your little hand mower, do your thing. No, it was a half-acre backyard.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
And a quarter of an acre front yard.
Jeez.
Same size that I would have to do for my own yard because that's how much my parents had. And we had to weed eat and edge. It would take both my dad and I, with a riding lawnmower, like 3 hours to finish the whole thing.
No, thank you.
So I was going to go do this for them because they were paying very well because it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
So they forgot to tell me that in their fence was a wasp nest. In the fence.
How do you forget to tell somebody that?
How do you not get rid of it the second you see it?
Right.
That's the bigger
That's
question.
the
The
first thing I would
second
do.
I knew that was there, if that was my house, if I saw a wasp nest for me anywhere, I'd be like, nope, we're calling somebody.
Yeah.
We're
peace
calling
out.
somebody right now, or I'm
Bye.
getting that wasp spray, and
Yeah.
I'm putting on a hazmat suit and just,
Yeah.
you will not be on my property.
Things are evil.
Get out of here.
They need to be like, what's it called? Exiled.
Exiled.
They need to be exiled.
Bees would
Bees
be
are
all right.
fine,
Bees.
yeah.
I mean, if it was like a big hive or something, I'd get that relocation group to come get them.
Yeah.
Because, we need bees, and bees are actually in decline.
Bees.
Bees are great. Wasps serve no purpose other than to make our lives miserable. And they eat bees, so they're even worse.
Yeah.
So, I opened this fence, not knowing that there was a wasp nest on the other side.
Oh,
It wasn't
boy.
huge, but there was about 12 or 15 of them on that
boy.
thing. So I open it, and I get it. I open the fence, get in my riding lawnmower, start coming in, and then all of a sudden,
No.
ding!
Ow.
3 on
Oh.
the ear.
Oh.
And I just freak out, and I run out of there. I leave the lawnmower. It's wide open. I'm like, I don't even care. I'm out of there. I'm out of there. And I told my dad, and he's like, all right, son, I'll go get that. I'll get that started so you can go finish the lawn. So then, yeah, my dad came in and had to take care of them.
That's because your dad is a BA. I want to
Yeah.
make this somewhat of a family-friendly podcast. So your dad's a BA.
Yeah. And,
You said, yeah.
yeah. He's kind of... Yeah, my dad he's that classic Texan that you think of where he's just like, we've had like rattlesnakes and scorpions in the house, and he's just like, all right, where's the shovel?
No.
Just like grab the shovel and just bang.
No.
Or like he cuts the rattlesnake's head off and just
Oh,
throws
heck
it off
no.
throws it over the
No.
fence. Just like, well, not anymore.
What happened to the bees? Or the wasps?
Oh, he broke the hive and like sprayed as many as he could. But my mom told me later. He was just like, I don't blame Brian for coming to get me. She's like, why is that? I got about 5 stings myself getting rid of that thing. They hurt. That was a mean hive.
Oh my gosh.
I was just like, oh, I'm not alone. Even he was like, no, these guys were messed up.
What do your neighbors do? They care at all?
Oh, we told them later, and they're like, we didn't know it was there. And I'm like, how do you not know
How
it's
do you
there?
not know there's a wasp hive on your fence?
And granted, it was
Do
a
you not
little
walk
one.
out of your fence?
It was a little one. They had just probably
Apparently they
started
don't
it. If they used a different fence, that could have been a fence they didn't use often. So maybe I could see that, but they didn't realize it was
Fine.
there.
That's stupid.
But yeah, no. So that was my wasp story. It was terrible, and my ear, like, got double its normal size.
Yeah, wasps are insane.
I'm glad it was only the outside of the ear and not the inside.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Oh no.
Ugh, no.
Oof, oof. All right. On that note, so I want to talk about Disney.
Okay.
Well, first we're going to talk about my iPhone. First we're going to talk about that. I have an old iPhone, and I am getting the new iPhone 14, and I'm really excited about that. Okay, moving on from that subject.
Well, probably by the time this comes out, you'll already have your 14.
I'm really excited. Okay, the second thing is Disney.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
San Francisco? Yeah, you
Is
said
it
it right.
San Francisco?
Yeah.
That reimagine is going to be awesome.
I mean, I don't know what it's all going to be. I mean, to my understanding, it looks like they're just going to hang some lanterns, maybe put a Baymax meet and greet and call it a day.
Well, no, but they're reimagining like the bridge into the Golden Gate Bridge. That's really cool. Which is kind of stupid because that's where they started.
I was about to say,
but
I
more
missed
San
that
Francisco.
part. But still, it's
more Japanese.
Yeah, which, I mean, makes sense over there. I mean, if you've gone over there, there's a very heavy Asian influence over there because of, like, the restaurants and everything.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. I'm super excited. The Tiana re-theme, though, I'm really looking forward to for Splash Mountain.
On Splash Mountain.
But,
you popping those peas.
That was a big old pop. Sorry.
Popping
those peas. But did you hear they are bringing out the new Disney cruise ship?
I did see that. It was called the Treasure?
Called the Disney Treasure, and it's all Agrabah Aladdin themed.
Interesting.
I'm excited for that.
Hence Treasure. That makes sense.
I'm excited for that. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun. Yeah. We still haven't gone on the Wish. We need to do that. But
well, I've only been on 2. You've been on 3, right?
4.
Been on 4. When was the other one? Because 2 of them you went with me.
One for my honeymoon. One with you. One with you.
It's like, I thought you only did 1 without me.
Wait, hold on. We did, honeymoon.
Yeah.
And then after the honeymoon, it was our friend group. After that, it was, how many times did we go to Florida?
Florida? We went multiple times.
Twice.
But one time we went, twice we went for Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
Another time we went.
3 times. We only went on cruise.
Yeah, we went 3 times.
Anyway, but yeah, super excited about that.
Yeah, no.
Super excited about the Disney Treasure. Boop. That was fun. Guys. Oh, we're still going. That's weird. Okay, so what do you want to talk about? Because I got something, but I don't want to say it right now.
Oh, you don't?
I want to say it, but not right now.
Well, I don't even want to say it.
Because I want to save it toward the end.
Okay, fine.
Golly. Yelling at me like I don't exist.
I'm not yelling at you.
I'm right here.
I know. I'm not yelling at you.
What? I'm going to tell a story. It's story time with Paul.
Okay.
I recently had a procedure done.
I was just about to ask if you wanted to talk about that.
Yes. Okay, I got to tell you the story of
All
my
right.
procedure. I'm going to tell you what the procedure is.
Can I talk about the lead up to the procedure?
You may. but hold on.
Well, we'll get there.
So I had a procedure done, and it wasn't horrible or anything.
Are you going to say what the procedure was?
No, I said I'm not gonna.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell you what the procedure is.
Why not?
Because I don't want to talk about my procedure. I'm going to talk about it, but I'm going to tell
I just said you're already talking about it. It's not like it's a big secret.
I'm not telling what the procedure
You told
is.
everybody.
I know, but I don't.
Okay, if you don't want to say it, you don't have to say it.
Anyway, I had this non-plastic surgery procedure done. It was a
It's
medical
really
necessity.
not a big deal.
I know. I just don't want to say it.
Okay.
Jeez.
Everybody gets one eventually.
Really? I mean, everyone knows now. Really? Everyone knows now.
It's not a secret.
God. I had a colonoscopy and an endoscopy. That's what I had.
I don't understand why that was a big deal.
I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So I had it. Now, mind you, I'm only 38 years old, but the reason I had it is because I have chronic illness. So they're like, okay, we have to look into your system here and see what's going on. So we're going to go up your butt and down your throat. And I was all like, sounds great. Let's do this. And so we were talking, and I'm going into the procedure, right? So my wife, we go into the outpatient surgery center, and we're there, and they call me back, and I go in the pre-op area, and I get really nervous because I think I'm going to die.
Yeah, he was worried about this for like days ahead of time.
I was.
He's just like, Brian, if anything happens to me, you'll help take care of my family, right? I'm like, well, obviously, but dude, this is like the most routine thing ever.
It doesn't matter. I'm not afraid of. Okay, this is funny. I'm afraid of anesthesia, but I'm not afraid of anesthesia. So
I mean, has anyone ever died from a colonoscopy before?
I don't think anyone's died from a colonoscopy per se, but anesthesia, there can be complications.
I guess that's true.
Right? So I was just scared. Like, I'm a healthy 38-year-old, so that's not the biggest problem. But I was just scared because my anxiety was taking over. So I was like, I'm going to die. And so we get in there, and I'm still nervous. And the doctor, the anesthesiologist, comes in, who, by the way, is my new best friend. Her name's Dr.
Have I been dethroned?
Yeah, pretty much. So,
oh, no.
No, not really. During those 45 minutes, though, you were dethroned. So,
dang.
Dr. Olson was her name, and I adore her with all my heart and soul. So, she comes in. She's all like, you look nervous. And I go, I am nervous. And she goes, I'm going to give you some happy juice. And I'm all like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, you are. And so she goes, do you know what benzodiazepines are? And I go, yes. And so she gave me benzodiazepine, which for people that don't know, it's a really good anti-anxiety medication, right? It really works quickly and effectively. So she gave me a certain amount of benzodiazepine. I felt like I was on cloud nine. You could do nothing wrong. You want to chop my head off? Go right ahead. Put it back on because I want to live, but do whatever you want. I don't care. And so but I was still scared. So I was like, Dr. Olson, will you hold my hand? And so she's like, oh, of course. She said I was her special person for 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I love you, Dr. Olson. So she held my hand all the way from the pre-op room to the OR. And I was like, bro, this is a doctor right here. So then she was all like, okay. Now, then the surgery tech was over there, right? And he was like, okay, I'm going to put something around your face and a little into your mouth, and it helps guide the endoscope. And I was like, oh, okay. I remember Dr. Olson going, pick a really good dream, and then nothing. And I remember, it's like, Paul, wake up, you're done. What happened? Oh, no.
I was about to say the procedure happened.
Right.
What happened?
But wait. So what happened, I do remember this, because I looked at her. She goes, do you know what this is? And I said, propofol. And she goes, you know a lot about your medications. I go, uh-huh. And then she goes, pick a good dream, and then gone. Because propofol, once that's in you, nighty-night. You are not waking up for a hot minute. Now, mind you, they monitor you, but I was under what they call monitor care. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I got knocked out, and then all I remember is, Paul, you're done. I was out for 45 minutes, and I had no idea. So I was like, okay, I'm done. So this is where the weird parts start happening. Because when you wake up from propofol, you're going to a couple things. One, you could be a crier. That's not me. Two, you could be extremely flirtatious. That was me. I was flirtatious. By the way, my wife is standing right here. So I hear from this nurse, Paul, wake up, you're done. And I wake up and I see her, and
what's the third option?
The third option?
You said there were three things. You're either a crier,
crying, flirtatious, or extremely happy.
Oh, I'm the third one.
You're probably going to be happy.
Because I think that's what I had for my wisdom teeth.
Yeah, and you can say silly, stupid things.
Oh, I said a bunch, which we'll get to that after this.
So I wake up and I looked at her and I'm like, hi. You're very pretty. And this was, my wife was standing right here. And I don't remember what the nurse said. I was reminded of all this later because I don't remember it. And then apparently I said, oh, that was very sexist of me. I'm sorry. I should never, do I have permission to call you pretty? I asked that because apparently that's who I am. And then she apparently said yes. And then I called her pretty again. And then I felt bad and said, I'm sorry for being sexist and didn't ask your permission, even though I did ask the permission. But I'm high on propofol, so I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. And then after that, I forgot that I had no pants on because, surgery. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. Then I realized I had no pants on. And I looked at my wife and I said, I have no pants. And she goes, yes. And then the nurse comes out and says, okay, I'm going to let you get ready now. And I get up and I sit up and I fall right back to sleep because I'm very tired still on propofol. So I fall right back to sleep, and my wife, had to help me up. And I was like, okay, I'm awake. And then I put my pants on forgetting my underwear first. So then I got my underwear and put my pants on. So it was this whole thing. And then Dr. Olson came and gave me a hug and said I was a special person again. And it made me feel really happy. That was my story. I'm very excited about that story.
I know. You are very excited about that story because the second I saw you after D23, you had to tell me everything.
It was very exciting. And I was like, this is a great story. And so I told it right now. And that is story time with Paul.
Okay.
By the way, thank you.
Yeah.
I was also talking to Jesus about 3/4 of the time. Or trying to remember to. I'm like, Jesus, please help me. He did. We're on good terms. But yeah, so that's my story, and that's that. Padookity, padoo.
Okay.
Me flicking
Did you
my-
just flick the microphone?
Yes, I did.
All right. Well, since we're divulging our anesthesia stories, I guess I'll do mine.
Anastasia.
Anesthesia. Oh no, anesthesia's a totally different thing here. I kicker, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
But no, that one was no, this was back when I was in college. Oh my gosh, yeah, I was in college. So I was actually
We have to do a memory warp.
memory warp.
Okay, you're in college. Go.
I'm in college. Hi.
Oh,
I don't
God,
know
no.
why I sound like
No.
I'm going through puberty.
Go back in the future. Go back to the future.
No, I won't do the voice.
Okay.
But it's me in college. Hey. So I'm actually in the middle of getting ready for a musical. Yeah, so we're getting ready to do Fiddler on the Roof, and I was Tevye. And then I remember we went to the doctors, and the doctors just like, or the dentist, and they're like, oh yeah, no, you need to get these wisdom teeth out like now. I'm like, it was in the Christmas break right before we came back. Like, I would have to start, we would have our rehearsals when I was still supposed to be in recovery time. So I was just like, I can't do it right now. I got to do the show. And they're like, in 3 months when you do the show, how bad is your mouth going to hurt when you're trying to sing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang it.
Really bad.
So you have a couple rehearsals you might have to miss, or you got to or you're just going to be in pain. I'm like, fine.
A lot of pain.
So we get the procedure done, and while I'm out, I swear to you, I understand what people think whenever they're high now. I've never been high myself, but I'm assuming it probably felt like this because I was out. I don't know what medicine it was because they probably told me it's like, we're gonna give you flendiferous fundipiters, and I'd have been like,
I don't
know what you mean.
You probably were on a heavy set of benzodiazepine.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was on whatever made me sleepy.
Benzos can.
I don't know big medical terms. Every time he says one, it just sounds like something else to me.
Hippocampus.
Hippopotamus.
That's my favorite one. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm out, and while I'm out, I don't feel any pain, but I recognize there's this pressure. Like, it has no pain. I just notice, there was like this big push and then a release. And during that time, like when it would be the push down part, I felt like I watched the creation of the universe. At every moment, and every time they would stop, it would stop wherever we were. Like, it would start with like the universe being created, and then we see everything form into the ball that is the earth, and then the whole thing's on fire, and then we get over to like the Cambrian explosion, and then it just kind of stops, and you just see all those little arthropods and like early like fish in the ocean just doing their stuff.
That's how they sounded?
And then it's like fast forwards again because I'm like, I feel the pressure again. And then we get to the dinosaurs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the dinosaurs. And then we get to the mammoths, and I'm like, oh, the mammoths. And then we pop up into normal day, and then it's like, wake up, Brian. And I'm like, I have been reborn.
I have been reborn.
I woke up, and I'm just like, life is beautiful. Life is new.
You know,
And
benzos, man, they can be your bestie. No one take them unless they're prescribed to you.
I was absolutely that third option you said, where you're just absolutely insane. I was not crying. I was not flirting.
Yeah, you could be happy.
I was just like, look at the world. Everything's pretty. I don't remember a lot of what I said. I just remember the nurse was cracking up and my mom was cracking up because she was the one who took me. And then, like, on the way home, the only thing I remember was I said that traffic lights wear wigs when no one's looking. That's the only thing I can remember. I wish I could talk to my mom and get everything. She probably remembers everything better.
Wear wigs
I'm still just like, why didn't you record it? She's like, well, that's what the bad moms do. I didn't want to be that. I'm like, no, that was funny. I said some comedy gold in there.
Gold. That's funny.
Yeah, but then the crazier part was I did some stupid stuff. I never told my parents this one, but
what did you do?
So I still went to rehearsal when I probably shouldn't have.
Smart.
After, like, the recovery and everything.
Total genius move.
It was one of those things. I was on so many painkillers at that point where I'm like, I'm fine.
You're not fine.
I'm fine. I can go to rehearsal. So I actually had to drive to my college and then drive back home.
On painkillers?
Yes.
Because you had no brain?
I was not thinking, no.
Oh my God, that is so dangerous.
Well, actually, my parents knew, and they said, don't go when you're really heavy on pain meds. I was like, okay. And I didn't when I went. But I wasn't thinking and took one while I was there.
How many did you take? Just one?
Just one. It was not smart.
What kind of painkiller was it?
I have no idea. This is not something I recommend. Do not try this at home.
No.
Do not, people.
First of all, it's illegal. Second, it's highly dangerous.
Yes, don't do that. It was a mistake and it was stupid and I wasn't thinking.
Driving while high. Crime.
Well, I wasn't high.
Depending on the medication you were on, you could have been.
Well,
I mean, unless it was just like high-powered, like high-dose Tylenol.
I feel that's what they said it was.
It's probably like Tylenol with.
So I'm gonna say it was that.
But if codeine's in it,
I have no idea.
Oh, boy.
I will say this: every time I took it, I didn't feel like my personality was altered in any way.
No, codeine wouldn't. Yeah, but oh my gosh, oh, you are a dangerous fellow.
Oh, and and we had a bit of a minor accident on the way home. Nothing serious. Like, no other cars were involved. Like, it was so minor, nobody knew.
What'd you do?
I was driving down one of the streets, and I hit the median while I was driving at normal speed.
You were high.
I was falling asleep. I was falling asleep.
Yeah, your judgment's impaired. You're high.
Yeah, that was not smart. Don't do what I did. But luckily, I pulled over just to see what happened. And the worst thing that happened was one of my, what are they called?
Tire.
Like on your wheel, not the actual tire, but the inside.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever.
Like the
things.
We're
not car people.
No, we're not. I'm sure everyone's sitting there going, it's like, it's this. Like, I don't know. But the inside of your car tire, like not the outside that you actually drive on.
Axle?
No, like the hub.
Oh, the hub. Okay.
The hub that's on the outside, like the tire hub.
Yeah.
Whatever that's called. Hubcap.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah. So I bent the hubcap.
You are a bad example.
That's why I said don't do it.
Oh,
it was
I
once.
never knew that about you, Mr. Hall.
Well, in my defense, this was like a week and a half after the surgery was done. So I thought I would be fine.
To take a Tylenol with codeine? Or any type of pain? I'm going to smack you virtually.
I don't know.
That's me smacking you.
I didn't know. This was also like a decade ago. I didn't know how medicines work.
You say this is like a decade ago.
This was like a decade ago.
Work. Well, I'm happy to know that you are a scofflaw and that you made crimes happen and then got into a horrible car accident.
Yeah, I was in such a terrible
car.
car.
Died.
Yeah. No, I actually had it to the day I sold that car. Because I think you noticed. I think you actually noticed one day and you were just like, what happened to your hubcap? And I'm like,
your car. It was your Civic.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was my old car.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, you saw it. It was
what
like
happened?
Nothing.
Yeah. That was a little nothing.
Yeah.
But still, don't ever do it.
Well, duh. I haven't done it since.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Don't do that. Just don't go to rehearsal once or twice and everything will be okay. But I was just like, I can't. I'm the lead. I have to go. I have to be there.
I'm going to take a painkiller and
To my uneducated brain at the time, it seemed like a smart idea.
Yeah, no.
It was wrong. I acknowledge that now.
Uh-huh.
Don't do that.
My favorite is patients who would come to me high on illegal drugs, driving to my office and saying, "It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine." Fire department's behind them. Their car's on fire. Yeah, everything looks fine.
Okay, mine wasn't that bad. I just got a little dent in my hubcap. That was
love
it.
my patients. Oh, they're funny. Don't be that.
And my tire had a scuff on it, but that was it.
That's horrible.
But then I got new
I
tires.
didn't know that about you. Happy you told me that story. Now I'm going to rub it in your face the rest of your life.
Yeah, because one mistake I made, you made no mistakes in college.
I'm thinking.
And even
Maybe.
then, the mistake I made was for a good reason. I was trying to go to school.
Well, yeah.
I was trying to
I don't know if
honor my
anyone knows
obligation.
this. I don't know if anyone knows this about Brian, but he is the best rationalizer I have ever met in my life. There are people that I deal that are chronic liars, pathological liars. They are amazing rationalizers. Brian beats them. Brian is a master rationalizer. But no. I was like, what? You are a good rationalizer, sir.
I am.
You
I'm
and my
really
wife.
Good at it. I'm like too.
I
good
think
at
99% of humans are pretty good, but you win. Like,
I
you
admit
are-
I'm too good at it.
You are really
It's
good.
bad. I shouldn't do that as
You
much
are
as I
really
do.
good at it. Are we done with that story?
Yeah.
Because I tend to cut you off and be like, move on, because I'm bored. I don't want to do that to you. That's why.
well,
So I'm asking.
no, I
Are
was
we
done.
done?
Yeah.
Great.
I have nothing else to say.
I'm happy to hear that. I have a question.
Yes.
Here's my question for you. Why? And this is a real question that I don't think has.
Oh,
ever
is this
been
the one you were
answered.
trying to say earlier, and you were holding off to the end?
Yes.
Okay. I'm
Yes,
all
it
ears.
is.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Brian Hall.
Yes. I feel like I'm on trial. Mr. Hull. Yes. Were you in the vicinity when George Sanderson saw the sock? No, I wasn't, I swear.
Wait, you were on trial for the George Sanderson murder?
It wasn't even a murder, it was a sock.
How do you know he wasn't murdered?
Because I saw the movie.
We should we should do a murder mystery podcast. We
I
should
don't
do
know.
it. It would be the worst murder mystery podcast ever.
Because everyone would know from the get-go who it would be.
You. Each time.
Why is it me?
Because
Is it because I rationalize and I
murderous.
drive
when you're
after
high on
taking a
codeine? Yeah.
painkiller?
That's illegal.
I didn't know that at the time.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't know that at the time, but that's what happened.
I'm not saying what I did was smart. I'm saying it was stupid.
I'm happy you finally agree with me.
I agreed with you from the start. It was a mistake.
Do you remember last episode where you were all like, if a tree falls in the forest, it makes a noise?
I still stand by that.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You were freaking out about it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I thought about it a little bit after our talk just because I was curious. I was just like, I love the questions that really make me think. But that's because I can understand both sides. And I'm like, ooh, that's a fun question. I like that. This one's not fun to me because I'm like, I feel like the only way the other side has a point is if they try to, for a second, just pretend like the laws of physics can't happen for a moment.
Okay, then talk about, for a hot minute here, talk about the chaos theory. Do you know anything about that?
I know they talk about it a lot in Jurassic Park. Chaos theory, yes. And that's chaos theory, where a drop goes on the top of your hand, and then it will go back down a completely different way, even though you expect it to go the same way.
Yeah.
Because there are tiny imperfections in the skin that cause things to move. I'm basically just quoting the movie. I don't know.
How do you remember all these movie quotes?
I don't know. Sometimes I wish I could remember important things. Like, friends' birthdays, people's names, where I've been, what I had for breakfast. But no, I can't remember all that. But if you ask me to quote Horton Hears a Who, I can do the whole thing.
What is that?
I
know you have, you don't, so I wouldn't say you have an eidetic memory, but I would definitely say that you have a memory for movies.
Yeah, I've had it ever since I was a kid. That's how I got through baseball and sports growing up, was I would intentionally be bad enough in the sport as I could to where I'd get put in the outfield, I get put to wherever nobody wanted to be, and I'd just sit there and listen to movies in my own head.
You would quote them in your own head.
I'd watch the movie in my head. I could see it, I could hear it. Just, boop, turn it on.
You could do that.
I'm doing it right now with Lion King.
It's insane.
That's how I learned how to do most of these voices, because I could hear them clear as day in my head. I could remember everything they said, so I could practice anywhere at any time.
So hearing them in your head, I have a question about them then. So when I can hear Goofy's voice in my head, but I cannot replicate it. You can.
I couldn't right off the bat.
So how long did it? I'm just curious. I mean, I know these stories, but it's crazy that you can do that. I don't think you realize how crazy that is.
I really don't, because this is the only life that I've lived, and to me it feels quite normal.
I get that.
But I understand that it's not typical, but I don't understand how weird it is. Because I don't understand what a normal brain is supposed to function as.
Well, see, that's
this
not...
is my normal.
Yeah, I was going to say, that is your normal, so
Yeah.
you do have a normal brain. Well, I mean, people look at me and don't understand how I can look at somebody.
Oh, I have no idea how you do what you do.
Well,
None.
I mean, they don't understand how I can look at somebody and be all like, why are you so sad? Why are you mad? Why are you this? Why are you that? Why are you feeling this way? You said this. You mean this. But like, well, how do you know that? You a mind reader? No, I'm not a mind reader. I went to school. Like, it
feels like you're mind reading
normal.
to everybody else, because you're seeing stuff that we're not.
I remember the first time someone called me a mind reader, and I was in residency, I think. But I had a patient. He was 17 years old, him and his mom. And he came to me, and the mom was telling me all these symptoms. And before she got to like the fourth symptom, I remember I was saying, does he do this? Yes, he does. How about this? Yes, he does. How about that? Yes, he does. And the 17-year-old started laughing. And I'm like, what are you laughing at? And he goes, how do you know me so well? And I go, I don't know you so well. This book does. I go, but I'm reading from the book. But no, this is just classic symptoms of A, B, and C, and you seem to be going through X, Y, and Z. Oh my gosh, you must be a mind reader. How do you know these things? That's literally what I do every day. And I'm like, what do you mean a mind reader? But to them, like you said, it looks like I'm like looking and peering into their mind and reading it. I'm like, no,
Well, especially if you think about it from their perspective, they've probably been dealing with this for a long time, wondering what's wrong with them, trying to figure this out, trying to pour over everything they can think of. And then you walk in just like, oh, you're feeling this, and this. You're this.
Yeah.
How did you just...
Which, it's funny because...
It's like, how do you know me better than me?
And that's funny because I don't. But the funny thing is like...
But that's what it feels like.
It feels like that because I remember with you, there was a couple of instances where I'm like, Brian, it seems like you're going through A, B, and C. And you looked at me going, you witch, you wizard. How did you know this? What witchcraft do you practice?
Yep.
Be gone.
And there was a few times whenever we were first becoming friends when you would say stuff and I'd be like, no, I'm not going through that. When in my head, I'm just like, holy crap, how did he do that?
and that is something that, like you said, well, that's what I've done my whole life, or that's what I've done for these years, and that's all I know. That's my normal life, my normal brain. Yeah. That's how I feel. So, like my friend, she's a psychiatrist, right?
Mm-hmm.
She knows 50 times more than I do. Smart. She sometimes will tell me things where I'm like, how do you know that? Like, it's so impressive to me. But I also look at other people's careers and go, like today, when I was with my wife at the dentist's office, right? This dental assistant was there, and she was so good. And I'm like, how do you know that? How do you know that about that? How do you know this? How do you know that? Like, other people's careers highly interest me, but human behavior in general interests me.
Oh, yeah, that really does.
My favorite thing to do at Disneyland, any park, any theme park, or anywhere.
Actually, I was about to say, not just theme parks.
No, anywhere.
You do this at airports, restaurants.
And watch people. I want to know everything they're thinking, everything they're doing. I like knowing that. But I will warn people not to do that. Because unless you are trained and educated and have experience in human behavior, you have a degree in something related to human behavior, be careful. Because I'm telling you, it has made people watching can sometimes be super dangerous because you assume, and assumptions, if you know the saying,
yeah,
assumptions can make a butt out of you and me if you get it.
And even then can cause... I know we've dealt with that ourselves.
Unnecessary stereotypes
is
one of them.
Or even then, just even within our own friendship, we just talked about this on the second podcast where we would talk about all the assumptions we had during Bippity Boppity Bros.
Oh, yeah.
That caused us so much frustrations where if we just opened up our mouths, we wouldn't have had that.
Right.
Which is why this podcast, every time we end, we're both happy and we're like, this is so much more fun.
This is so much more fun. There's a lot of dangers to people watching. And I think like Brian was just saying is like what we learned at least after we finished these podcasts, we like this so much better. It's because we opened our mouths and we're actually communicating and talking. And I think that's something people just do not do anymore. They assume. They just assume. And there was a very interesting lecture that I heard is that back in the day, right? So we have left brain, right brain, right hemisphere, left hemisphere.
I always thought that was a myth.
That is not a myth. That's actually extremely, very factual and relevant.
Huh.
But, I mean, they both house similar things, but with the right brain and left brain, blah, blah, blah. So left brain is more, is that logical? Why can't I think?
I thought left brain was the creative and right brain was the
Where's
logical.
your phone?
Well, you never have your phone. Oh, no, you're right. It's flip-flopped.
Yeah.
If you're analytical or
You're left
methodical,
brain.
you're left brain.
Left
if you're
logic.
creative and artistic, you're right-brained.
So with the left and the right brain, there's a professor, he's a mathematician, Dr. Joseph or John Lennox, I forgot. But he is a world-renowned. He's a big guy. He's a world-renowned mathematician. I think he's also a philosopher, very intelligent man. But neuroscientist. Funny. Okay, wait, back up. So he's a mathematician, but he's a psychiatrist as well. And he also practices neuroscience. And he was looking back in the data of the day and noticing that a lot of people used to think left, right brained. So it would go, here's some logic over here. Then it would bounce over to the right brain to kind of get a perspective on it and see like, oh, okay. And then from there it would bounce back over to the left brain, get more of a logic and understanding of it, and go back and forth until a perspective is formed, right? Nowadays, especially with tons of neuroimaging going around, is we go right left brain. So we make our own perspective of it first, then we bounce it over to our logic center, and our logic center goes, oh, well, yeah, we're gonna make sense of this. We're gonna make this right. That's unconscious bias. That's complete bias. Whereas before we used to go like, they're saying this, develop something around it. Okay, but remember, they're saying this, and go back and forth until a solid, concrete evidence was making more sense. We started with logic first, and then we went to our own, what would you call it? We started with logic first, and then we went over to our own perspective, right? And we bounced back and forth until our own opinion formed. Now we start with our own perspective, not knowing any logic.
Huh.
When it's all like, well, we have to know evidence.
But
like
I mean, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
And then we get reinforced by Google. So if you go on Google, you type in what you want. Trust me, there's someone out there that thinks like you.
Oh yeah, and of course,
It's
the way Google works or Facebook or any social media site. They already know a good amount about you, depending on how much you've used their
so they're
sources.
going to reinforce
so
your
they're
bias.
going to pull up stuff that you're going to want to click on.
Right. So they're going to reinforce your bias. So it's like, okay.
Trust me, I work on the internet.
Right.
This is how it works.
And it's scary. So what I tend to do and tell people, this is such a tangent topic, but what I tend to do and tell people is they're like, well, I was watching oh my gosh, happened with patients all the time, especially when I was treating couples, which I hate doing. But they were like, oh, well, my boyfriend said A, B, and C and blah, blah, blah. And I knew that it was happening. And I'm like, do you have evidence for that? No. You have no evidence that that happened. None. Then how do you know it happened? Oh, because I know him.
Do you?
Do you, though? Because he's sitting over here saying it never happened, and we have evidence that it didn't happen. Yet you assumed based on what? Well, I went on Facebook and I talked to a couple of my friends and all their boyfriends did it, so I thought my boyfriend would do it. Yeah, that's assumption number one. Number two, that's not how that works. You have to communicate. You have to open your mouth and talk.
Yeah.
Oh. And come to find out, nothing ever happened. And it's like, so you got mad at this guy for no reason whatsoever because you assumed. Yeah, and vice versa. The guy got mad at her for no reason. It's like, well, you assumed as well, buddy. So It's like we think, and this is what really bothers me, and sorry going on soapbox right now, but people think because they take one course in psychology or they watch a YouTube or a TED Talk that they're all of a sudden masters of psychology. They're just psychiatrists.
No.
It's like people do not understand the amount of education, the amount of training, the amount of experience you need to do anything in human services, especially mental health. So I always advise people, do not play Dr. Google 100%. Don't go on WebMD and diagnose yourself.
Well, no, you do that, you're probably just going to come up with cancer for
You're
everything.
going to come up with some exotic cancer.
I have a headache when I wake up. Well, you're dying.
That's always what it goes to, cancer.
Always.
But I really find that annoying because I'm like, you are not just degrading my field to make it simple, but you're also hurting yourself and your loved ones. Because I've had patients come in and be like, well, my sister has bipolar disorder. Oh, no, she doesn't. Yes, she does. I looked it up. Oh, so because you, and I said to them, so you looked it up on WebMD. Yeah. So you played Dr. Google. I took 3 semesters of psychology. Do you have a degree in it? No. Are you licensed? No. Then you don't know. Like, plain and simple. You don't know. Stop pretending you do. And that can lead back to self-esteem issues. I can see a bunch of self-worth, like why they're doing it. But all this to say is be careful when you watch people. Don't assume. Don't stereotype. Don't be mean. Just open your mouth, be kind, and communicate. It's not that difficult.
It's really not.
It's really not. And that's what bothers me nowadays. It's like, why is everyone like this?
Well, I didn't learn how to communicate as well as I have until I became friends with you, because
that's funny.
Yeah, it's because I was raised in the mentality where it's just like, oh, if you got a problem, don't talk about it. Just get over it on your own and then deal with it. And I dealt with it later in therapy, let me tell you.
Yeah, as anyone should.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be my friend, especially a best friend, someone I consider a brother, we're going to build our relationship up.
Yeah.
This ain't going to be stagnant.
And that's what I love is the fact that, there's nothing that I could say about you that I would not say straight to your face.
No, that's how it should be in a friendship.
And I love that because it's like, you have conversations about other people when they're not around, but that's one of the things that can take comfort in. It's just like, this is stuff I would say in front of his face.
Yeah.
So I don't care if I'm saying it now, and I have said everything I've said to other people
and
to
you
your
know what?
face.
Things you or I say to you or you say to me sting. Well,
sometimes it
sting.
does. Yeah.
But one of the cores of a good friendship to me is able to tell them the truth to help build them up.
Exactly.
And vice versa. And this is, for those who believe, those who don't, Brian and I are both, followers of Christ, but it's biblical. You should also build your neighbors up, build man up, build people, build your fellow man up or woman, have you.
Iron sharpens iron.
Right. And it's really hard. No one does it anymore.
No.
And it's all like, dude, build your friend up. Oh, no, they can suffer. You're not a friend, dude.
Or
at that point,
they're afraid of being rejected or something when their friend obviously would not reject them.
Well, that's the thing, too. If you're in fear that your friend will reject you based on some truth that you're going to speak into their life, that's not a friend.
No.
But the thing is, too, be careful of what you're speaking.
Well, right.
And
Don't
make
come over
sure
there.
It's real.
Right. Monitor your words as carefully as you can to not just be a jerk and come up and say, hey, you're a butt because you did this.
Right. Like when I come up to you or any of my friends that are true friends, I go, I use I statements. I feel A, B, and C is happening. And I've had many a time my friends go, you feel incorrect because this is actually what's happening.
Yeah,
so my perspective was wrong. Okay, good. I like knowing that.
Yeah, we had a bunch of those regarding Bippity Boppity Bros.
Yeah.
Or it's like we even had a few of those with this podcast where it's like you were like, I feel X, Y, and Z is what you're thinking. And I'm like, no, that's not. And
you're like, I'm like,
I'm not there at all.
Oh, okay, great. That's good for me to know. And the other thing is, yes, maybe your assumption is right. Maybe you bring it to their attention. Maybe they're like, yeah, I am doing that. Okay, well, as a true friend would be all like, I don't like hearing this, but I know you're doing it out of love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a few things you told me during my time when I was very depressed.
Yeah.
That hurt like there was no tomorrow, but it made me a better person because you were right.
Well, it's important. That's the core. That is a core of a true friendship.
Yeah.
I have a close friend now who I will tell, not you, but you know who I'm talking about, I think, is I tell her all the time. I'm like, that's probably, wouldn't do that if I were you. Well, why? Well, A, B, and C, and do you have a history of this? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that was hard to hear, but I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be hard to hear. People tell me
Mhm.
things that are hard to hear, but they've built me up. I had a great friend back in the day. Great friend. He built me up with hard truth. Hard truth. And I'll tell you this, the man wasn't a Christian. He was an atheist. And I say that because it doesn't matter what religion or spirituality you follow. It matters that you're a flippin' human being and willing to encourage and empower your friends.
Yeah.
That's a friend. You don't have to be Christian. You don't have to be atheist. You don't have to be agnostic or Buddhist. You can be what you are and still be a kind human being.
Yeah.
If you can't, like, come on, people. Like, you know when you know. Yeah. So I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox now. That was a TED Talk. Thank you for coming for my TED Talk. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Splendid.
I'm going to turn off the comments on this episode. Turn them right off. I'm like, tell the truth. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Let's be honest. Oh, fun times. Anyway, it is getting old. How long have we been doing this? 55 minutes.
What's been getting old? This conversation?
This conversation's over. We're ending this sucker.
Well, okay, you didn't have to say it was old.
Anyway.
That's like an old conversation is one we've been coming back to for like 8 years. We've been having this one for like
57 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming to our podcast today. It's been amazing.
Yes.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But not on
Yes.
this episode because I'm turning the comments off.
Oh, God.
If I didn't, be nice. Anyway, it was a pleasure. Come back next time.
Yes.
And we'll see you on Life of the Bull of Cashews.
Yes.
Bye!
Bye. See ya.